most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most. You know I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the turkey himself, the Jive Turkey Nano. And how the hell are we doing, my friend?
Let's go. Doing great, my brother. Great to see you as always. Been chucking and driving over here in Arizona. It's nice and sunny. Got the background going. We got Bruce behind me, my guy Bruce Lee. For you audio listeners only, recommend you hopping over to the YouTubes because that's where we are live. And it is a fine Wednesday, hump day. I'm excited, brother. Got a light to recap on. It was a crazy card, and we got the chat buzzing already. The one, the only, as dogs. The fucking turkey. The turkey's in the house, baby. We are live, jiving, thriving, man. It was a busy work day, able to sneak away a little early to you live. This way we like it, though, baby. Come on. Wouldn't have it any other way. Ready to dive on.
Ready to get on down to it when it comes to this card, my friend. Ready to jump on into it. Ready to jive and jerk like a turkey myself. We got to do a bit of a recap. Obviously, we got to talk about UFC London here, folks. It was definitely one for the books. I know a lot of people are talking about the fact that it was maybe, I don't know, not the most exciting card of all time. A lot of people giving it a 5 or a 6 on the scale of 1 to 10 here. But I thought it was actually a fairly competitive and exciting card, if I'm being completely honest here, Nano. I thought more than often the fights were entertaining. There were like 2 duds. All right, we're going to call a spade here, as we always do. And look, it was a tough night when it came to the bets. We did not have the best outcome on our bets, right? We'll do that right now. Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room right away as we start the show. So let me just pull up the bets here. Let's see. Because I know we are out more units than we're in. We did have a little bit of a return, but again, not necessarily what we wanted to see here, folks. We put out 19.19 units. Wow, that's actually very funny. Nano knows this. I bet 0.99 of a unit on one fighter specifically because the payout would be my lucky number, right? Which involves 616 or upside down 616, which is 919 for the Marvel Universe. And ironically enough, after all of our bets, we put out 19.19, which is my lucky number upside down. Pretty insane stuff as far as the units go. I mean, you genuinely can't make this up. Come on. We live in a simulation. All right, folks. All jokes aside, though, we put out 19.19 units. We got 11.25 back. So we were out a little bit as far as the units out versus units in this week. But not the worst week we've ever had. Far from the best, but not the worst week we've ever had. So 19.19 out, 11.25 in. When we started this week, we were up 59 units on the year. So now, as of today, we sit at plus 51.06 units on the day. Not a bad place to sit, right? We are playing with over 51 units of house money here. And God willing, inshallah, we continue to do so, folks. We got to jump into this fight card, man. And it was the parlay breaker. It was a tough start to the night. It was Guram Kuteladze coming into the lightweight division against Cal Fernandez. Oh, man. Cal Fernandez had a leg kick that was just landing ad nauseum. He was doing work with it. As soon as he landed, I think the second one, I saw a welt really starting to form over that left leg of Guram. And even when Guram switched, he started landing on the other side. It was disgusting stuff, bro. Cal Fernandez is definitely someone to keep an eye on. Those leg kicks are disturbing, and more specifically, the calf kicks. There's nowhere for all of that swelling to escape to. We've seen it, and man, I think that was truly the story of the fight. He hit Guram, and Guram couldn't really stand up at one point, it felt like. So good job for Cal. Terrible performance for Guram Kuteladze. I think this was probably the worst he's looked out there inside of the UFC octagon. But again, styles make fights. Maybe Guram didn't show up in bad shape or with a bad game plan so much as Cal showed up in the best shape with the best game plan. Yeah, Vegas got this one wrong, and so did I. No, what do you think, man?
Yeah, Vegas was super freaking wrong, and we were all super freaking wrong, man. We all thought that Guram was going to go out there and take care of business, but that was not the case, right? So big win for Kaue Fernandez. He's the dog. This Brazilian is someone we need to be talking about more. He not only displayed some great strikes, obviously the leg kick, something we talked about going in there, but he absolutely neutralized Kuteladze, somebody who we thought was going to come in with that dominant wrestling pedigree. Need we remind everybody here, and before I keep going, everybody being the one, the only Leroy in the chat, we see you, appreciate you. I'm sure you're talking about MMAnomaly's background's always on point, but
oh no, he's got to be talking about the new additions to yours, baby. Showing off the Punisher gloves, showing off the Warriors. Come on, and showing off a little bit of Bruce Lee. Come on,
you know the vibes. There he is in the flesh. You know the vibes. Appreciate you. Got to come correct. Maybe it'll motivate you audio listeners to come check us out on the YouTube. Like, subscribe, because we did hit 3K this week. Onward and upward. Shout out to the threes, baby. Spam the threes in the chat there after you subscribe and let us know, man. We'll send you some free stuff. There you go. Alan already has it tatted. That's how excited he was.
Let's go. I got that yesterday.
It's still healing. That's how fresh it is. But no, man, listen, this guy, Mr. Fernandez, is an absolute stud. He went out there and took care of business, right? And what I was saying was Guram had probably the most legendary coaches, probably the all-stars of all-stars you can have in the Khamzat Chimaev and the Ilya Topuria. And maybe he needed more. Maybe he needed Merab in there as well, because the wrestling just did not come through, man. And, yeah. We lost our parlay on the first leg, really set the tone for the night. But there was some good violence. It was an overall a good fight and a good fight card, to your point in the beginning there as well. Want to reiterate. May not be a ton of household names, but certainly people that across the pond appreciated. It was getting the home crowd buzzing. And there were some really big exchanges, some fun exchanges, some point in the center of the octagon-esque moments. And this one, unfortunately, didn't have that, but it did just have someone that went out there and simply neutralized his opponent. So, dominant win for Mr. Fernandez again. In terms of what's next for him, I mean, I guess he has to somewhat take the hype of the Guram Kuteladze train and run with it. I mean, he has two other, I guess, bouts in the UFC. Lost one in a split decision against a tough Mark Diakiese, and then most recently got a knockout, and then now this win as well.
Sorry, what was that name you said? Mark what? Was that D. Casey?
Diakiese. Diakiese.
I'm sorry, bro. You made me look like a fool like a week ago, so... Vengeance is sweet!
I should have just laid it up safe with the Bone Crusher, or just Mark. I should say just Mark.
Good old Mark.
Good
the
old
Bone
Mark.
Crusher, as we know him, you know.
Bone Crusher Mark.
Marky Mark.
But yeah, man, he's gotten some good experience so far. I don't know if he's ready for a top 15, or I don't know, and I don't know if you have anybody in mind. But this 155 division is certainly one to be reckoned with. So I don't know, man. I don't think you throw him into the wolves just yet, but I think you definitely take Fernandez and you keep him rolling with some of these top guys.
I'll tell you, I definitely don't think you're wrong, right? You don't want to throw him to the top 15. You don't want to throw him to the top maybe even 25 quite yet here. But there are a number of names that could make sense for him, right? You could give him to somebody like an Elvis Brenner. You could give him to somebody like a Daniel Golden Boy Zellhuber. Neither of them have fights, both coming off of losses here. One coming off of a decision and a TKO loss, the other one coming off of a decision loss in Daniel Zellhuber. I think both of them stack up very well against those dudes, and stylistically, it'd be a fun fight for the fans to watch when it comes to either of those guys going in there against the Cal Fernandez. When it comes to Guram, I don't know what's next for him, but I got to tell you, it goes to show you, like, there's a conversation I just had on a friend's show here in Dust Up Shakedown. Shout out the Fight Week show and Ola and the boys. When you train at a good gym, you're going to get better looks than if you train at a mediocre gym or a bad gym. But you can train at the best gym. And if you're not the best fighter or you're not putting in the best work yourself, it doesn't really matter. Especially if somebody else is putting in more work or better work than you at a worse gym. These things have ebbs and flows. These things, they play out for a reason, right? So Guram has people like Ilia Topuria around him. Cal does not have that caliber of training partner, and yet he's still out here getting it done at a 10-2 record. Dude's an absolute anomaly, an MMA anomaly at that. And speaking of an MMA anomaly, shout out Matua in the chat. Guram going down inconsistency road. Ooh, man.
Yeah, it was a rough outing for him, for sure.
Things you don't like to see, but yeah, you're not wrong. Definitely going down inconsistency road here. Speaking of inconsistency, goodness gracious me. It's going to be a long night, Nano. Might have to do half shots for this one. We got a bantamweight bout between Nathan Fletcher and Caolan Loughran. I bet on Nathan Fletcher to get it done, and I'm going to be honest with you. I thought he got it done. I really did. I thought the judges got this one wrong. 114 strikes landed to 65. 59 significant strikes landed to 30. Both in favor of Nathan Fletcher. I mean, the opposing guy obviously had 6 takedowns out of 12, but what did he do with them? If I got 6 takedowns on you, I promise you, with all due respect, Nano, I love you, I respect you, I'm landing more than 30 strikes on your face that are significant. Like, I'm sorry, if I take you down 6 times, I'm hitting you, bro. Like more than 5 times a pop. Okay. And that's essentially what happened. Caolan went 5 significant strikes per takedown averaged. Not great. Especially considering his opponent went 59 significant strikes landed per 1 takedown average. 59, 5. 59, 5. I'm trying to make the math easy for you guys. Not all those strikes were landed on the ground. In fact, most of the strikes that Nathan Fletcher landed were actually on the feet, but I digress. I thought Nathan was simply the better man. That's all she wrote, man. But Caolan Loughran went out there and was one of 2 UK fighters to get it done out of 6 that competed on the night. And not only that, Nano, I gotta call a spade a further spade, right? Can't just call a spade a spade. If it's an ace of spades, gotta call it an ace of spades. And that's what we had on Saturday. We had a real ace of spades situation here. Not only did 2 specific UK fighters win, Nano, but it was the only 2 Irish fighters on the card. There's something to that, yeah? Maybe a little bit of luck of the Irish. I don't know if you knew, but Caolan Loughran, Shanna Bannon. Let's go. What were your thoughts on this fight between Caolan Loughran and Nathan Fletcher, my friend?
Yeah, and they both, took care of business in different ways for sure. But this one was a split decision win. To your point, I think going into that last round, probably like most of us, had it 1-1. Felt like Caolan certainly had a lot of pressure. That first round, he was busy. He landed a little bit more strikes. He landed 3 out of 5 takedowns. To your point, I know that's not everything, but a lot of the times that's how these judges are gonna score these fights, is looking at the offensive prowess, landing more often than not your takedowns. That's always a good sign, as opposed to going 1 for 20. You don't love those ratios. And I'd be curious, I just thought of it too, it'd be nice to maybe get some sort of sentiment from all the judges when there's a split decision, because it'd be nice to know how they all looked at it as they were judging it live, right? And you can look at it kind of how you did, where maybe we were with rose-colored glasses because we were rooting for Fletcher. We had him, just as picks. So to your point, we'll end up doing probably a little half shot here for, unfortunately, being on the wrong side of a victory a couple of times so far. I digress. But listen, I feel that, the takedown defense should also be scoring for a Nathan Fletcher. So even in that last round, this guy's just sniffing crotch. He's just going to continue to pressure and try to land those takedowns and gain control time. When he's not really able to do that, not able to do much with it, to your point, not able to land a lot of strikes, it almost felt like you got to be able to read between the punches a little bit, or read between the takedowns. Is it more in a desperation mode just to kind of hold him there and hope that the judges take your side? Two of them did. He looked shocked. One of them went for Nathan. Again, I think it could have gone either way. It just felt like because of Caolan's pressure and obviously the activity in that last round with the takedowns and everything, I felt like he probably was going to win. But to your point, I thought Nathan did a solid job there. I mean, didn't lose any stock in my book. This was a great bout between two tough son of a guns. And like I said, man, two underdogs to set the tone. The first Englishman to lose, unfortunately. So no hometown rub there, surprisingly. But no, man, this was a fun one.
We got a new chatter here, Hangry Dana, saying, how big of a super chat do y'all need for Nano to show us his swing with his 9-iron, preferably shirtless? Well, that's going to come to the Patreon here next year, folks. I don't know. I mean, if you show up in Vegas for International Fight Week, we'll probably get some content. Well, maybe you'll have to bring the golf clubs out. Got some courses out there.
A little Top Golf. I could definitely bring the clubs. I could drive.
Or Topless Golf. You know what I'm saying?
DM us and we'll see what we can work out there. Maybe
I would be down to hit Top Golf while we're in Vegas, possibly.
It's fun. Good vibes.
Could be a move.
It's a vibe.
Speaking of a move, my friend, when it came to this fight with Caolan Loughran, I've already got my half shot poured. Did you have a name on the tip of your tongue for the Irishman for what's next? Or did you just want to leave that one in the hands of the matchmakers?
I was just going to leave it at the hands there, man. I mean, he's definitely somebody that is polarizing, to say the least. He's loud, he's brash, but he is backing it up at this point. So you definitely can't hate on him for that. Can't knock him for it. Went out there, beat a solid dude in his backyard, so to speak. And if we're kind of using Tapology, which is always our typical source of truth here when it comes to rankings and getting information on these guys, I mean, again, like a litany of fighters that just can make a ton of sense. That would be a lot of fun. I think for someone like, Caolan coming off a win, I don't know if there's really anywhere that's too high, but someone like a Howney Barcelos, or I don't know if a Pedro Munoz is ever going to fight again. I'm not going to say my boy Adrian Yanez. These are all top 25 guys, but I think you could definitely throw him in the conversation now. As Dixon Sider said, maybe a new nickname on the horizon. And crossover MMA, what up? Great to see you. Let's go.
Caolan, the Irish muscle hamster Loughran. I love that. It reminds me of the muscle shark, Sean Shirk. I don't know if you remember that guy, but he was definitely the muscle shark, Sean Shirk. Oh, he was such a fun name to say. Dixon Sider just got the news. Oh, snap. I'm a mod now. Let's go. Yeah, man. Speaking of which, I need to actually make this guy crossover a mod. What's happening? I also need to make Leroy a mod, and I need to make S-Dogs a mod. I'm going to do that while you're doing your next breakdown. But before then, look, there's a few names that actually make a lot of sense for this guy. I mean, we just saw him come off of a loss. Why not a Guram Kutaladze? Actually, no, just kidding. We actually need to go down a weight class for this, man, right? Oh, man. Yet.
He's a big boy, though. He could probably go back.
I mean, he is a big boy. He could actually go up in weight class, all jokes aside. But I'd rather see him fight somebody like I don't know. Brady Highstand is coming off a handful of wins, 3 wins, but he's very inactive. He's only 8-2. I'd like to see him fight somebody like this, like a Caolan Loughran, somebody who can actually push him I mean, 8-2, 10-2, pretty similar trajectories. Other than that, I don't know, man. Hanayaya coming off of a couple of losses definitely makes sense as far as namesake. And if you're trying to build the guy, I think it makes a lot of sense here.
I see you. I like where your head's at. Come on.
Speaking of where our head's at, folks, if you drink, raise one up with us. If you don't, raise up a cup of water, whatever it is you do drink. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here. We're at like 10 right now. We're hoping to grow that number by at least 6x by the end of the show here. We're not here for a long time today, but we are here for a good time today. So cheers to you. Cheers to us. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Hit us up with the comments and let us know where your head's at for this one. Let's go. Speaking of smashing the likes, Shauna Bannon coming into the strawweight division here in women's strawweight against Pooja Tamar, up-and-coming Indian fighter. Man, as Dogs MMA said this earlier, he's like, India was on the rise. We were all expecting him to come in and make a splash, but more of a cannonball, right? Not the best kind of splash here. And I don't know if I've said it yet, but yo, what up, Crossover? Happy to see you in the chat. Happy to see Lane in the chat. And happy to see the Flying Kitten 22 in the chat. Let's go. All the air horns for you folks. Now going back to this women's strawweight bout. Shauna Bannon. It was bad news bears, right? She was in trouble there in the beginning. She ate a head kick. And I'm gonna jump off my bar stool early. I'm gonna ask you, Nano. I'm gonna let you take the lead here. Do you think the fight should have been stopped after that head kick, followed by just concussive shots to the dome?
It definitely was close, right? I mean, it definitely was close. This was a fun one. This was definitely a fun one. We thought that Shauna was going to be able to go in there, take care of business. But our girl representing India, putting the whole country on her back, Miss Pooja Tomar, had some heavy hands. She was able to figure out Shauna's karate style with the leg kicks and kind of chopping away. But she was able to work her way in. I think Shauna maybe lost her focus a little bit. She was right before that exchange. She was like complaining to the ref. I don't know what she was saying exactly. It doesn't really matter. When you're worried about that, you're not worried about the opponent in front of you. And that's exactly what happened. She got smacked in the mouth with a head kick. Pooja changed levels, got her right on the chin. For someone that kicked so much, I'm surprised you kind of fell for something like that. And then, yeah, I mean, to your point, some heavy shots on top, but she recovered, man. She recovered, and Pooja really wasn't able to get her out of there completely. I mean, it's unfortunate because what ended up happening is another simple mistake as you're on top, as you think you're winning, as you think your opponent's out of there. Shauna threw up what felt like a Hail Mary, but was basically just a well-timed technical lock and securing of a submission victory, man. It was really, really heads up. That's how you bounce back and win, man. Again, I mean, I thought she was definitely getting outstruck. If that didn't happen, I thought she was going to be on a really short path to a quick loss for her, unfortunately. But that's not what we're talking about. And like Dixon Insider said, cash the Shauna Bannon sub plus 1,800. That hit. Absolutely crazy. To address your earlier comment, no, I did not cry when Meatball retired. Might have made me hungry, but I think it was time. It was her time. Okay, as we like to say around here.
It was definitely her time. It was definitely her time. And I gotta call out a spade here. Dixon, I told you I'd give you the shout. My friend. Not only did you hit that Shauna Bannon sub at plus 1,800, he hit something else, Nano. He parlayed it with two other subs on the card that hit. He hit the Sean Brady sub, and he also hit one more sub. Can you let us know what that was, Dix Insider, and can you let us know what the ultimate odds were on those three combined, my friend? And with that being said, shots are on Dix Insider in Vegas for International Fight Week, folks. Just on that bet alone. Now, going back to the fight breakdown and analysis here, the Flying Kitten 22 said it best. The Shauna Chun-Li kicks, I think they meant the Shauna Chun-Li kicks were crazy. brother. Like she was just wearing back. It was nasty. It was nasty. It was Brady and Tainara sub. Let's go. You already love to see that, baby. Brother, I love and hate the Taekwondo style of fighting, of point fighting. It's just step back, land, quick points, side kicks, push kicks. Just disgusting stuff. Dix Insider plus 40K was the odds. That's disturbingly awesome. My God, round robin by 2. Let's go. Things you love to see. So yeah, Shauna Bannon, I thought that fight could have been stopped when the head kick landed. There were a number of unanswered strikes that landed. $5 into 2K. Let's go, Dixon. That's a hell of a smashing hit. Kind of like that submission was by Shauna Bannon, right? Shauna, aka Mama Bannon, went out there and looked exactly like the fighter we've seen before. She's 7-1, but hey, the one time she's lost, it was by decision, and it was to Bruno Brazil from the Fighting Nerds. So, not the worst fight you can, or not the worst loss you can have on your record. And the way she got that armbar, very quick. She sucked that arm out. It was pretty much textbook, right? Don't really know what's next for Pooja. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I'm not 110% sure what's next for Shauna Bannon. Did you have a women's strawweight in mind for the young lady after that kind of performance, bro?
You know, she's still green around the gills, in my opinion, and it was a bit questionable there in terms of her path to victory. Again, she got rocked, so it wasn't a landslide. It was, you know, she's not somebody that, to me, screams automatic top 25 or throw in the lion's den. But she's got a 7-1 record. She's got a good look to her, and she's got another finish in a strawweight division that can go a long way. And you just look at the current landscape. A lot of women have fights currently. So I think outside of, you know, taking this easy way out and pairing her up with an Alexia Tainara who also fought on the card, I think someone who's kind of a fun name who could really put her to the test and might even be a really good bounce back fight for this girl, in my opinion, because I do like her. But I'm talking about Amanda Hebus here. I'm talking about someone we've seen a lot of.
Oh, you stole the name right out from the tip of my tongue. I had 2 names, and that was literally number 1. My guy.
Well, you shouldn't have left me with all that real estate, baby. You know, you laid out for me to play it out. Best believe I'm going to play, okay?
Not mad. I'm just disappointed in myself.
Well, I'll leave some meat on the bones. Why do you think that's the best fit? Tell the people why you think that's a good one.
I think it's the best fit because she's coming off of 2 losses. And if you look at her last running 5, she's 2-3 is Amanda Hebus. And I mean, yeah, she has a wealth of experience in comparison to her opponent, but I mean, she's 12-6. And we all love Amanda Hebus, but she's 12-6. So we got to call a spade here. The other name I actually had written down, Nano, you might like this one better, and it might not even be one that was on your radar. I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here, my friend, and let's see if you hit it for a home run. I was also thinking Fatima Klein, the Archangel, sitting at 7-1. They have the exact identical record. Neither of them have anything on paper lined up. And I think trajectory-wise in their career, I mean, I don't think you could script something better, man.
I like that, brother. I like it. It's a good narrative there. That's a story I'd watch, a story I'd listen to. Come on.
Let's go. And shout out Andrew Nance in the chat. Let's go. Love to see you here.
LFG. Throw them LFGs
and
in the
shout
chat.
out Making the Walk MMA, folks. If you're not already subscribed to Making the Walk MMA's channel, Jax puts out really quality content. The dude is one of the sharpest minds in the MMA Twitter and YouTube sphere. So please make sure you go over there and give that man a subscribe. All the air words for this, man. What's up, gentlemen? Bannon had those how wrong from Tekken kicks. Nano with the A+ hat game again.
Hey.
Oh, bro, you already know, baby. We rep Raiders hardcore out here.
Come on. Shout out Culture Kings. I won't keep them from you. That's the spot. Go check them out. Come on.
Let's go. Let's go. Bro, I literally I got 3 gifts for Jake when we went out to the birthday party, brother. A Raiders hat, Raiders golf glove, and a bottle of what was it? Was it the Don Julio 70?
Yep. I saw that. Hey, my man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just things that synonymously scream winner. Let's go, kid.
Come on.
Let's go. Yeah, you already know me, brother. I'm a big Raiders guy. If I ain't cheering for the Saints, I'm cheering for the Raiders. Let's go. And if I'm cheering for the Raiders, it's because they're playing. Oh, man. With that being said, we got to move into this next fight. It's a middleweight bout between CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, coming in against Andre Pulaev. Nano. We talked about the Russian a little bit, but then I think I made us lean on the CLD here because CLD is just a bit of a legend killer, right? I called it. I sunk it. It was we were par for the course. Whatever other sports analogies you want to go, we were there for it. There were a couple of people this week that I heard online, and I wish I would have heard them a little bit earlier, my friend, so I could have got it into the bookie in time. But the Duncan parlay. There were two men named Duncan on the card. You know we love a themed parlay. My God, how did we miss this?
Oh, we got to do that more often. What are we doing?
How did we miss? If we would have done the Duncan parlay, it would have hit. If we would have done the Ireland parlay, it would have hit. Folks, themed parlays. They've got a weird jurisdiction over the luck category. Okay? Like, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense, but it fucking happens. Let's go. Man. Andy doesn't like me because I'm Andy. It's not personal, bro. It's like Kenny Florian getting furious when people call him Uncle Kenny. I've actually never heard him be called Uncle Kenny, but I love that. I'm going to call him that in the next Anik Florian show live chat. Let's go, Max Crosby. All right, Andrew. Cultured young man. Let's go, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Nance knows.
Dixon said CLD needs to be cut for not finishing this fight. Relegated to the B leagues. Dixon Cider. Okay, I'm just gonna call you out, my friend. I don't mean to do this, but I'm gonna call you out because that's what we do. It's what real friends are all about. Tell us you had money on CLD inside the distance without telling us you had money on CLD inside the distance. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the chat. If not, I'll take your silence as admitting defeat in that one. Let's go, Dixon. He said LMAO. Oops. Let's go, kid. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Dude, he landed 116 strikes to 36. It's not his fault the ref didn't stop that. Sav in the chat. Let's go. Oh, hello there. You guys come here often? If the day ends in Y and there's an air horn with air in the horn, you know we're going to be here, folks. Let's go. Nano. Tell the folks how you felt about this CLD showcase over Andre Pulaev.
I felt pretty good about it, okay? I'm not as judgmental as our man Dixon Cider over here, okay? I felt like CLD was trying, okay? He was doing his absolute best. Great to see as well, Sab Jelly. The queen has arrived. But yeah, all things to say, I mean, we saw a lot of great striking. We saw someone that was really pushing the pace, applying that pressure. He being Christian Leroy Duncan. So Leroy, shout out all the Leroys. They're all beautiful, especially one that's in the comments. I see you. All jokes aside, Andre Pulaev had his moments. I think he should have put a little more gas on the, a little more pedal to the metal. Needed more gas on this one, but really just was not, just a little gun shy. And I think when you have somebody like a CLD, not just fainting, but like actually throwing these ridiculous knees and elbows and spinning back fists and unorthodox strikes that are beautiful to watch. Similar to like my guy Bruce Lee behind me, just always looking to cause damage. I think it stunned our boy out there, Andre Pulaev. So shout out Christian Leroy Duncan for doing the best he can to put on some great striking. His dance partner really didn't want to tango too much. So we saw what we saw. We got what we got. But I'm not disappointed with it. I think it just further reiterated this man is no one to be messed with. Okay, he's a force in the middleweight division. I mean, he's not getting any younger, right? I mean, he's continuing to put on good performance after good performance. I don't know how high is too high, but is someone like I hope they haven't fought yet, but I'm going to say it anyways. My guy Gregory RoboCop. Oh, he did already beat him. Oh, see, maybe that's one to run back. So I think they're right on the outside of the top 15. That's really why I mentioned RoboCop, but they did already fight. That's hilarious. Maybe Roman Kopylov. Or Paulo Kopylov. They have not fought. Oh, thank goodness. All right, that's who I'm sticking with.
Roman Kobylov's not a bad call out. It's not a bad call out. So I've got two names on the tip of my tongue for this young man. And before I get to those two names, we got to address the comment section here. Jax from Making the Walk is saying, CLD is clearly talented. I'm a bit worried about how he fares when he fights more talented fighters. The ceiling may be lower than I thought. Fair. Dix Insider said, and the worst part is that I felt that CLD wasn't going to get the finish when I saw he was outsized at face-offs, but I didn't trust my gut and played round 2, 3 anyway because of FOMO from the community. Oh, no. That's tough. Oh, man, you fell for the trap. Welcome to the party. I fall for the trap every single week. So with that being said, we'll go through the picks that I have on the tip of my tongue here, folks, and it's this. I got the loser of Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. I think the loser of that fight would make a lot of sense for CLD. And if not that person, Nano, this might be me being crazy bananas here. And tell me if I'm being a psycho person. Sharabutin Magomedov, a.k.a. the Bullet, a.k.a. the Pirate. He's coming off of a loss. I mean, he looked like he did not understand what to do in there against Michael Venom Page. What do you think happens with CLD?
Man. I mean, it might be a similar thing, to be honest.
Might be.
That's kind of my gut. Maybe it's a little recency bias, but I saw a lot of great striking. I saw a mean dude in there that's willing to mix it up, man. That's just me. That's just me.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a fun fight either way. I don't know who I'd side with. And you know me. I'd have to see the odds first. Speaking of seeing the odds, though, we got to move into the next one, folks. We have a heavyweight bout between Marcin Tybura coming in against McCann. And folks, I called this one, right? I told you that Marcin was going to come out there and get it done. I just thought that he'd be the more wily veteran, and what do you know? That's exactly what he was. He was the more wily veteran in this one. He got it done, and maybe it was a bit of a robbery. But either way, I picked him as one of my dogs in the competition. So anyone who didn't, get fucked. Let's go. Making the Walk said, what happened to Andre Muniz? Looked like a contender until he fought Brendan Allen. That's what BA does to folks, boys. Let's go. And shout out S-Dogs MMA Talk. Once y'all are done watching the boys, I'll be live in 45 minutes or so. Matchmaking Wednesdays, folks. The boys are back. The boys are back.
Oh, that's a great Wednesday. You get a little bit of both. A little recap, and you get a matchmaking, a little prediction for
and you got all the breakdown from the Dust Up Shakedown right before this. Let's go. It is a full Wednesday. We're all eating good, folks.
It's buzzing.
Let's go. Leroy, over 12 in here and only 8 legs. If you're slacking, gonna catch these hands. You already know Leroy's hands are rated E for everyone, folks. So let's get it in. Hit that like button. Nano, was this a robbery or not? Tell the folks below, my friend.
Well, I felt like it was. The only thing that was robbed was a 0. Okay, that was the only thing that was robbed this last Saturday night. I think Marcin was able to take care of business. He did enough in my eyes. And granted, I'm a layman. Okay, I'm just a little jive turkey over here. I am not a judge. It is not something that's on my payroll. It is not on my LinkedIn. That's not something I do. Okay. Because when you look at the strikes, you certainly can see or hear what I'm saying and say, man, you're talking crazy, okay? But when I break it down round over round...
Come on, don't be crazy.
Listen, man, there's a narrative there, okay? And I think Marcin won the first round. I felt like Mick definitely won the second round. But round 3, Marcin came back out and got Mick sleeping, man. Sleeping in the sense that caught him while he was a wounded gazelle, okay? He was tired. He was fumbling, stumbling. And just really ran out of gas. I'm going to keep using that expression tonight because it makes sense. But that's exactly what we saw from this man who just didn't have enough to protect his O. The Englishman, again. Let this guy from Poland come into your territory and just walk all over you, man. Not really, though. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a chill fight, for lack of a better phrase. But, man, Marcin's that guy. He's still that guy. He's out here taking people's O's and just continuing to frustrate the entire heavyweight division. But he's somebody, right? He is still somebody that is a force to be reckoned with. And I guess at this point, you got to throw him back up there to the top, right? Not necessarily all the way to the top, but, you know, he's like 9th or 10th, you know, maybe like right above him or below him. I mean, I guess just keep doing what he's doing. You know, that's where I'm at with him. I think it was a very lackluster performance, very lackluster win. I was hoping Mick would just be able to do a little bit more, but that was not what we got. Anything stood out to you? Are you hoping to see Marcin climb the ranks and make a title run, or do you want him to kind of be that gatekeeper as he's kind of been? And shout out the comments here. They're buzzing right now. I like what I'm seeing. Let's go.
Leroy holding these folks accountable, my friend, making sure everybody's hitting that like button. And yeah, I mean, the only name I have on the tip of my tongue for Marcin Tybura, and again, I got to echo everything you said, my friend. I thought he got this done. I thought the judges got this one right. I'm not with anybody that's yelling robbery here. Rounds 1 and 3 were Marcin Tybura rounds, in my opinion. Equal control time in round 1 and within 2 strikes of one another as far as significant strikes, and 3 strikes of each other in totality strikes in round 1. Round 2, Mick outlanded him, out-controlled him. We'll call a spade here. But round 3, Marcin outlanded him, out-controlled him on significant strikes as well. So, again, that's a clear 2 out of 3 rounds for me, for Marcin Tybura. I say, just like you said, you got to bump him kind of back right up in there. Look, he's in a very shallow division, right? But I don't think it's crazy to say you could probably give him to a Sergey Pavlovich or a Jailton Almeida, who are both looking for a fight at this point in time and don't have a bout scheduled against the heavyweight champion, which seems to be on the shelf at this point in time. Let's go. So with that being said, folks, yeah, like you said, you gotta bounce him up towards the top a little bit. Loner Kavanagh, though, in flyweight, coming in against Felipe Dos Santos. Look, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Loner Kavanagh went out there and did everything that he needed to do to get this win. Nothing more, nothing less. It was exactly enough to get that win on paper. 4 out of 6 takedowns, stuffed all 3 of his opponent in Felipe Dos Santos' takedowns. Did get outlanded on total strikes, but outlanded his opponent on significant strikes. And that came by way of the grounded strikes, right? Yeah, Felipe was dirty as hell. You're absolutely right. I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about that. Loner Kavanagh, though, is a stud. He was definitely going out there for the win, and he was not taking no for an answer. He's the kind of fighter that we love on this podcast, folks. And he's the type of fighter that we can get behind for pretty much all of eternity here. Nano, I am curious to hear kind of what stood out to you, if anything surprised you about Loner Kavanagh, and also what you think should be next for the guy who is 9-0 in the flyweight division in a year in which most people's O's are really starting to go, my friend. Tell the people.
A lot of the O's have been going, man. You definitely have seen it. But this guy representing England, Sir Loner Kavanagh, was a beast, my brother. He was able to go out and get it done. And he's all a bit as good as we thought he is. I mean, the striking, the pedigree, the arsenal that we saw was on full display. And I think the best thing that really excites me when we see these MMA fights is when they're bloodied and beaten and bruised and battered. You know, it's a fun one, man. So this was potentially my fight of the night, in my opinion. I just felt like it was absolutely fun pillar to post. Felipe Dos Santos, I signed this guy to a 10-fight deal. I mean, this guy's always putting on a good performance, not always winning. You know, he may not be a future champion, but he's definitely somebody that puts butts in seats. And like mentioned in the comments here, maybe a little dirty, okay? You definitely don't love to see that. But at the same time, you know, I don't want these guys kissing and making up and always saying they're grabbing beers and doing stuff after. I mean, we're here to compete, and they're also doing the most violent thing, and they're fighting each other. So I don't really mind if he's trying to get an edge or, maybe doing things that you may feel you wouldn't do normally. Again, all is fair in love and war. So I don't mind it myself. But for a lone air, I mean, how do y'all feel? I mean, throw some names in the comments. I mean, are we feeling too bullish to throw him up into the top 20, top 15? I mean, there is a guy in Andre Mascote Lima who recently just fought. Should we try to get them on a collision course later this year? I do have a lot of thoughts. I think someone like him, someone like a Kai Asakura, I mean, I don't know what his plans are or what he wants to try to do, but if he wants to grant someone that opportunity to get a number next to their name, a couple guys that'll put on a great show for a Kavanagh. Tough matchup. If I'm any of these guys, I may not necessarily want to do that. But I think that's kind of where my thoughts are at this point. It was a fun one, but let's see what we got here in the comments. Anyone get lost in Nano's eyes? That's just you, my brother. But I'll help you get found back on track here. Always. I'm with you. Let's see. I've been asking Lane to translate some of it. A lot of Gene Silva doing grappling rounds. The coaches seem to really worry about the Bryce fight. Okay. Today was my 365 Portuguese Duolingo streak. I got you. Oh, okay. Chama. Let's go. Sometime I'll Sab Jelly. I should be doing some Duolingo for my Spanish skills as well. But I'm glad someone's out here doing what they got to do, taking care of business, staying consistent. Matua, piquing interest out here. Come on, talk to us. Let us know. But again, we appreciate y'all being here. We got 13 of you. And listen, this was a fun card. But again, I'll slightly hand it back. Ooh, making the walk. Okay, you did like the Lima call out. Both dangerous guys, both undefeated. I'm going to dish it back to MMAnomaly here as he's getting caught to speed. But how does that gut reaction? I threw out maybe an Andre Mascote Lima for Mr. Kavanagh. Two guys that are willing to go out there, swing and bang.
I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at it. I feel like the flyweight division is definitely a stacked one. And as always, great breakdown, man. This guy is one of these guys that I feel like we have to kind of treat with a little bit of care and a little bit of caution. He's 10-0 for a reason. And I just, the only worry that I have about putting him against a Mascote Andre Lima is this. You're putting two undefeated fighters against each other. Essentially, you're putting two shiny brand new toys against each other, and one of them ultimately has to break for the other one to succeed. So you're taking one of your stars off the pedestal. Now, let me come out and say something a little bit different. Why don't we use somebody, and I hate to use the word use, but it is what it is, right? Why don't we use somebody for exactly the reason that we got them from a big promotion that, is the only reason that we pull from this promotion, right? We took a star from Risen and Kai Asakura. Let him fight either one of those two undefeated guys. Let him fight a Lima. Let him fight a Loner Kavanagh. Because again, what you're going to have is a Japanese superstar from Risen fighting an undefeated up-and-comer from the UFC. Either way, win, lose, or draw, you are building a star, and the other guy is okay as a result. You put two up-and-comers against each other, right? Similar backgrounds, similar styles. One guy breaks, one guy wins. You're ruining your chances of building one superstar. That's the only kind of debacle I have with that. That's why I like the Kai Sakura pick for him a little bit better. But I'm going to sign up to watch it either way. I'm not mad.
I'm with you, though. I'm with you. You got to think business-wise, it probably makes less sense. But fight-wise, violence-wise, boy, does it make the most.
Yeah.
See what they decide.
Man, I'm telling you. Look, Sav Jelly keeping the streak going on Duolingo, 365-day Portuguese streak. Let's go. Love to see that. Oh, man. I see you, Olin. The Joe Pfeiffer Bo Nickel bottle. Exactly. Like, you don't want to put those guys against each other because you're going to ruin a star. Like, it's just, you don't want to ruin two shiny toys. Speaking of ruining a shiny toy, We had a lightweight bout to headline this preliminary card between Jai Black Country Banger Herbert coming in here against Chris Padilla, aka Taco. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, man, because if you want to see how I felt about the way this fight played out, you can watch my prediction on this fight because it's exactly how it played out. I thought Jai Herbert was going to come out there, look to be long and strong with the distance strikes. And I thought that Chris Taco Padilla was the more well-rounded fighter and would probably look to be the stronger guy and adapt throughout the fight, right? Be able to actually implement some grappling in here. And that's exactly kind of what took place. Did he go over 6 on his takedown? Sure. But he still was able to negate the real threat of the distance strikes by clinching, pushing, and pressing his opponent backwards. So this was the Taco show, folks. This is what he does. If he was a Marvel character, he would be an adaptoid, right? You beat him up 5 times, he's going to beat you up 15 because he's going to grow every single time you beat him up. It's just how it works. So give me Chris Taco in this one moving forward. As I said last week, I knew he was going to get it done. I like this dude. I think he's an absolute stunner. I think he's a savage. And again, he's somebody I will pay attention to moving forward. He's not the most exciting fight style of anybody we've seen in there, and that's a fact. You could say he lost the fight if you look at it on a damage spectrum or standpoint because of the cuts on his face, the lacerations. But again, I digress. I thought Taco went out there and, I mean, outside of maybe the what was it, the last round, I thought he pretty handily won that fight. Yeah, outside of that last round, I thought that was the Taco show. Not sure if you saw anything different or if you have a name on the tip of your tongue, Nano, but kick me off the stool here, man.
I'll kick you off, but I'll kick you right back on because I'm right there with you, brother. Okay, I don't want to be too disrespectful. I'm in the same boat with you. I do think Chris Taco Padilla did just enough to edge out a very close split decision here with Jai Herbert. Maybe a little bit of that hometown rub was starting to, come into play on this one. But to your point, I feel like he did most of the, he won most of the fight. It's 15 minutes, it's 3 rounds. Thought he went out there. He clearly won the first round, clearly won that second round. And as long as he didn't go out there and have a 10-8 round, I thought he was going to go end up being victorious. Kind of curious to see, again, how or why this was a split decision. I think even just a quick sentiment from some of the judges as to what the narrative was for, how they saw the fight going. Because to me in this one, it was Chris Taco Padilla leading the dance. He sort of started to find Jai Herbert's rhythm, and it ultimately just felt like Jai didn't have an answer for him at this stage in his career, and for how sharp and young and how tough Taco is, man. I mean, I saw that cut. It's absolutely leaking from his face. Did not show any sign of wavering away from or trying not to get hit there. I mean, he kept him moving and took care of business. So to me, I think that using the eyeball test, and just as a fan of violence, as we all are here, I thought the right guy got the victory. But certainly was a close one for as long as it lasted. In terms of what's next, though, man, again, we're going to circle back into this lightweight division. Absolute dogs, absolute savages. I mean, Jai Herbert's somebody that has fought someone coming back into the lightweight division, and Mr. Ilya Taporia. I don't know if that necessarily means, MMA math means you got to give Sir Taco a top 15er. I'm not even going that far, but just a lot of fun names you could really throw them in here and mix them up with. Whether it's, someone like a Matt Steamroller Favola, a Thiago Moses, Drakkar Close. I can continue to just name people, and you're going to think, oh, it's a household name. Oh, that'd be a fun matchup. Oh, I'd pay to see it. That's pretty much where he's at, which is right where you want to be if you're a Taco Padilla. Right in the driver's seat, right in the mix of all these guys trying to make a name for themselves. And I'll leave it there. Come on.
Things you love to see. If it's me, I'm putting Taco against a legend that's not a household name, like a Diego Ferreira, right? Like he's somebody that's been around. He's a veteran. He's wily as hell. So if you're able to get past him, then maybe there's a conversation to be had about you fighting a top 15er. And mind you, this is the guy that I'm talking about here that Dustin Poirier made his lightweight debut against when he went up from featherweight to lightweight. So he's not a household name, but he is if you're a diehard fan like us, folks. So with that being said, got to move into the main card, folks, because you already know.
It's time
For us to talk about this freaking main card, we had a featherweight bout starting us off between Nathaniel, made of wood, coming in against Morgan, the last pirate, Chartier. Now, Nano, correct me if I'm wrong. You were feeling the pirate in this one a little bit, yeah? This is one that we bet against each other on, right?
The Frenchman would win. You are correct. Unfortunately, I gotta eat my words.
Yep.
Because we suck again.
As S-Dog said, rest in peace, Clarence Claymore. If you get the reference, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Oh man. Lane. Sav Jelly speaks fluent Portuguese now. Yeah, she does. She posts about her Duolingo streak all the time, and it's the best to see. You know what I'm saying? Obrigado, all that stuff. Eso. Pretty sure that means yes or something positive. For sure. With that being said, I'm gonna pour up a half shot for you with you because we don't do them alone. But I gotta say, I told you so. Because I was on Nathaniel Wood, and not only was I on Nathaniel Wood, he was one of my dogs of the week here. I knew he was going to get it done. He was one of the people I was most confident in on this entire card. So let's go. And we know Leroy gets the reference. Who the fuck are you? Say it again. Say it with your chest, mate. Clarence Claiborne. Dude, great stuff is Australian cartoons. They are much better than Saturday morning cartoons. Miss Mary, I'm dying that the Clarence topic carries over here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. It carries. Side note for Olin, Gambit, Channing Tatum will be in Avengers Doomsday, in case you didn't already know. Woo, you know how long I've been waiting for this? He about to make a name for himself in that one there. Laissez le bon temps rouler, mon ami. We all eat tonight, baby.
Au revoir. No, sorry. Let's go.
Sacre bleu. We need to teach my boys some French. Let's go. Oh, man. Clarence Claymore. Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. The boys are buzzing.
It's the new goat milk. It's the new goat milk. Nano, let's do our shot so you can talk about your thoughts on this last pirate.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. We can do this thing. Cheers to learning lessons and to keep it moving forward. And as we say around here, keep it going, keep it growing. So appreciate y'all. Let's keep growing the community and keep growing our bank accounts. Salute.
Let's go.
Just like Sir MMAnomaly over here having a hell of a Q1. Up and Adam, up and to the right, man.
I think 51 point something right now. I have to pull up the document, but yeah, we're playing with house money, man.
Yeah, well, and listen, I mean, that's what Nathaniel made a bamboo wood did out there on Saturday night. He knew he was playing with house money. He was in his backyard, and he said, "I'm not losing to a freaking Frenchman," as Brian Battle famously coined last year. And that's what he did, man. I do think, as much as I like and coming in thought that the movement was going to be hard for Nathaniel Wood to read on Morgan Chartier, that was not the case. In fact, the hands were just a little too low, and he got popped almost immediately. And I thought, oh no, even if he recovers, I think it's going to be a long night. He's going to have to try to knock out this man made of, again, red oak wood, or like Texas Insider said, Nathaniel Morning Wood, which is, again, it's hard to get, y'all. Come on. What more do we need to say? So with that being said, it was a butt whooping. It was close on the striking margin that first round, but then other than that, Nathaniel was running away with it. Stuffing the takedowns, he looked strong, and again, he just really found the timing, was able to get to his mark much more often, get some of the leg kicks going, rip the body, which we always love to see as well. But when he really landed to the mark at home, it affected our boy Morgan, and he just didn't have an answer for it. So big win. I'm a man of my word. We did our shot. That means I took the L, and my boy MMAnomaly obviously is just accompanying me like a good co-host. And that's where I'm at. I think man, I don't know why I was fading our boy Nathaniel made out of wood, because we love nicknaming him and just watching what he does out there in the octagon. And I say this because this is somebody that I have a lot of respect for as well. I think it's time for this wood to see if it can withstand a machine gun. And I'm talking about a Chepe Mariscal machine gun. Sir Chepe against Nathaniel. The wood against the Mariscal. And I'll hand it back to MMAnomaly. How do you feel about this one, man? What stood out to you and what is next?
Well, look, man, let's call a spade here. First things first, always love to see a bet made, a debt paid, as we say here. And second thing second, no flack on Morgan Charrier. It's more so props to Nathaniel carved of wood, or rather Nathaniel Morning Wood. No, all jokes aside, though, I mean, this guy is an absolute beast, and I knew that he was going to come out here and have the right answer. I am going to go even a step higher than the machine gun Chepe Mariscal. And the reason being, Chepe doesn't have a fight scheduled, but he fought like some time ago. So, man, for me, trajectory-wise, don't wait on the shelf. If you're Chepe, you probably want to get a fight even sooner than that. Nathaniel, I mean, he didn't absorb 0 damage, right? He ate 70 punches, or 69. So he's going to need to recover a little bit to an extent here. Maybe you take the guy that has a fight coming up in 2 weeks on my birthday on April 12th. Maybe you take the loser, right, of Jean Lord Silva versus Bryce Mitchell. Not that much farther up the rankings than him. I think it'd be a really, really fun matchup. Either way. Again, Nathaniel Wood versus Bryce Mitchell, banger. Nathaniel Wood versus John Silva, banger, if he's coming off of a loss. The Flying Kitten said, just a thought at MMAnomaly, you kind of look like Zelensky. Like the Ukrainian president. I mean, thanks. I don't know if it's an insult or a compliment, but either way, I appreciate it, man. I don't get told I look like famous people in general very often, so I'll take it. Making the walk, ... So Bryce Mitchell, yeah. I mean, more so, yes. But also, Jax, you gotta know me. Like, we haven't met in person, but you know me. I feel like you know me by now to know well enough that I'm probably going to have to sprinkle a little bit on Bryce. That's the toughest matchup of Jean Lord Silva's career. And though I have Jean Lord Silva in my UFC fantasy competition, again, plus 270 on Bryce Mitchell. Pretty wild, bro. And if you can give him to me inside the distance, gosh, now you've already got me looking up future odds here. Nope, we don't have them. Oh, but we do have odds for tomorrow's card, for Saturday's card. I'm excited. Oh, I'm looking at these odds already. Why'd you do that, Jax? Yeah, so we don't have odds on the finish for Bryce, but once we get the odds on inside the distance, I'd imagine they're going to be nice on that one. Couch cushion money bet on Bryce Mitchell by sub. That's exactly it. Like, we're talking like a 1/10 of a unit stuff, right? Like, not even a 1/5 of a unit on that one. So, yeah. And thanks, Flying Kitten. I appreciate it. I'll take the compliment. We'll take the win. So, yeah, Nathaniel Wood gets it done. He goes out there in emphatic fashion and dominates the performance. Speaking of somebody that dominated, gosh, Nano. Is this another one that we were opposing on? Do you hate me? Do you hate yourself? Did you know you were going to be thirsty on this given Wednesday? Man. Like,
it's a rough one. I fell for the trap.
I tried. This is the one that I felt like I was most bullish on. Ola shouted me out on his show today. He's like, Olin, my guy, you tried to tell us about this Chris Duncan cat. It went exactly as I said it would. If you look at round 2, I literally said Chris Duncan will play his game as long as it's okay for him to play his game. And then he's going to switch it up and he's going to do Chris Duncan things. Jordan didn't like the way round 1 went, and it's like his coaches fired him up, and he came out in round 2 and he started landing, bro. It was solid. It was a good start to the round for him. And Chris was like, that's fun, But watch this. And then he just came in on him and just snatched up a submission. And I mean, the dude is a beast. The dude is a beast, is Chris Duncan. More than a beast is, I think it's safe to say he's a problem. Right? No, we can call him the problem. It's actually what his nickname is. So he put the epidemic out, and he did it again in impressive fashion. I mean, it's nice stuff, man. The guy got 4 out of 5 takedowns. Just nasty with it. By the way, 3 out of 4 of those takedowns in round number 2. Why? Because Jordan started landing on him. He's like, nope, don't want to do that. And he made a difference. He made a change. He did exactly what we called this man earlier, right? He was a bit of an adaptoid out there. So, look, unless he's going against a world champion, you got to start betting a little bit on Chris Duncan every time he's out there. And shout out Dixon Sider. He hit that on a 3-leg. Dixon Sider also said, no, not Bryce sub. Play the TKO. Dixon, you're not listening. I said inside the distance. We're still here. We're still here. I don't need plus 1800. I'll take plus 8 or plus 900 on inside the distance. Let's go. So he says, no, not Bryce by sub. Play TKO. With the amount of smack John Silva has talked, Bryce won't be coming to submit him. I guarantee you. He's going to try to punch him in TKO with ground and pound. I completely agree. But I also think that if he rocks John Silva, he's smart enough to snatch an arm and break it. He won't give him a chance to tap because he's mad at him. He'll snap it. There'll be no snap, or there'll be no tap or nap. There will be a snap if Bryce wins. So Bryce Kingdom Come Mitchell. About to move down to Arkansas, start making my own homemade some barbecue sauce, and I'm gonna call it Arkansas, baby. That's a marketing genius idea right there. Rest in peace, my Uncle Robbie. He came up with that one long time ago.
Well played.
No joke. That's some shit my Uncle Robbie told me in between concrete pours when we were doing bridge construction.
Oh, that's a good one. He should have put a patent on that one.
Someday. If nobody rips me off from this live stream chat, I'm going to make that happen. And that's how we'll take care of the nephews in the future. Nano, you got your shot poured up for your misjudgment again?
I'm going to have it ready right now. As you hear.
You know what's really funny, bro? Like, as you pour that up, the best thing about these is it's either like you get hella wrong and I have to do shots with you. I get hella wrong and you have to do shots with me. Or we both just smack all night. Like I don't think we've ever actually had a show where we both just suck.
That's fair. We typically don't usually.
Right. Like when we're hive minding, it's for good reason, dude. Mm-hmm. And when we disagree, Sav Jelly, I am confusion.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes it's fun being contrarian on here, but the units are up. And as long as we stay that way.
The units are up, the spirits are up, and hey, we're drinking spirits, folks. So if you drink, raise one up with us. If you don't, raise up a glass of water. Either way, we hope you raise up something. Maybe it's your hand to move onto your mouse, to click on that like button or that subscribe button, or maybe smashing the bell for notifications. Either way, we appreciate you raising something up with us. Salute, kanpai, cheers, banzai, whatever you say, we say it with you, and we appreciate you for being here. And we're back. Oh, man. I'm concerned. So again, man, Chris Duncan is definitely, he's the guy. He's the guy to break your parlay. He's the guy to ruin your day, but only if you bet against him. No, I'm looking at you. Jordan Vucinic, this isn't the end for him. Look, 13-4, I think we can all agree is not, it's not the best. It's not the best record in the world. But 13-2 is obviously not the best either. And that's the guy that just got it done over him. He was 12-2 when he came into this. So I don't think this is the end for Jordan Vucinic, but I think he's really got to turn it around. And Nano, can we just do a quick segment here, right? Dixon said Jordan Bumshenik. Can't do it. Can't even post that on the screen. I actually think that Jordan is a really strong fighter. I think he's got a lot of talent, Nano, but I think this goes back to exactly what we were saying. And I went over this earlier in the show that I was on with the Fight Week show. So shout out the Fight Week show if you're not already following them. Make sure you drop a like, a sub, a comment. Smash the bell for notifications, folks. But I digress, Nano. When it comes to Vucenic, I said this in our episode last week, yeah? So if you're training at, like, I don't know. I don't know what the closest mixed martial arts gym to you is, but if you know off the top of your head, shout it out, right?
I think it's MMA Lab. Well, MMA Lab would be the biggest one here in Phoenix, probably. But
so that's the biggest one. That's like the most household name one, right? So if I asked you, if I went and dropped into MMA Lab and I went and dropped into American Kickboxing Academy, where do you think I'd get better looks?
I mean, probably kickboxing, right? I mean, it's kind of that sweet spot.
AKA literally has, I mean, and with all due respect, there's bias, right? I've trained there. Out of all the mixed martial arts gyms in America, AKA, there's three. There's a top three, I would say, as far as the most champions of all time, right? Or the most champions at one time. AKA at one time had both of those, right? We had 5 champions at one time. Right on that same cusp, I would say is ATT, which again, a little bit of bias. I have a couple of signed autograph cards by Dustin Poirier. Shout out This Is Drew for hooking those up for the birthday. But I digress. I know he trains at ATT, so there's a little bit of bias there. Other ones, well, I don't know, man. Like there's a couple of other gyms you can go with, but it really depends on at that point, like, who do you love? When did you start watching? Like, cause if you started watching when you started watching, and again, showing our difference in age here a little bit, Nano, you might say your home gym, right? You guys have a Sugar Sean, and realistically, it's not about how many champions we have. It's about the notoriety of the champions we have. Or someone of your age, you might also say maybe an Extreme Couture, right? Because of Sean Strickland, things like that, if we're talking about America gyms. I might venture to say a Greg Jackson gym, which we haven't talked about in 5-10 years. But GSP trained there briefly. John Jones, that's his forever gym. Karate Hottie. Trained there for a significant amount of time. Holly Holm. I mean, she dethroned the GOAT and Ronda Rousey. So, again, if you ask 100 people, hey, give me your top 3 MMA gyms in America. Just in America. I'm not even talking about worldwide, brother. Those 100 people, depending on when they started watching, whether it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, they're going to give you a different answer. Right? Like in the chat right now, could you just do us a favor? Not even top 3. If you're in the chat, Dixon Cider, Flying Kitten 22, Sav Jelly, Making the Walk, Lane, everybody. If you could just tell us your number 1 gym in America, number 1 MMA gym in America. I'm just curious to see the demographic here, right? And I know that this is a bit telling, right? Like it's a bit vulnerable because you're gonna age yourself a bit, I feel, by saying this. Here we go. Fight Ready with Coach Santina DeFranco and Eddie Cha.
There we go.
We're already getting new names in the mix, baby. And again, like Fight Ready is definitely a noteworthy gym. They're definitely a solid gym. Would I put them in my top 3? Not necessarily right away. And by the way, no, they're in Scottsdale.
Oh, shoot. There we go.
See, Lane, American Top Team. Let's go. And thank you guys for playing along with this. Like, this is a really great experiment, right? But again, like, if you're looking at Fight Ready, like they've got Leandro Pitbull Hiego, they've got Henry Corrales, they've Got Eric, your boy, Anders. Chan Sung Jung, the Korean zombie. Zombie has done some camps there. Atagalenge, the Mongolian Knight, has done some camps there. Triple C trains there as well. So does Bruno the Bulldog Silva. Right? Like, there's so many. Making the walk. This is what I'm looking for. Jackson Wink, because I'm old school. Like, I knew there was at least one of you still here that's watched since your boy. Like, we're a little bit older than these days demographic. And that's no knock on Nano. I'm happy that I've got him on the show because A, I couldn't ask for a better fucking co-host, and B, couldn't ask for a better looking co-host, and C, it's great to be able to appeal to you younger fuckers because I know that ain't me. Dixon said Kings MMA. That's another really, really solid one, bro. Kings is a good shout. But didn't you already say fight ready? Are you just throwing out MMA gyms at this point? Like, you're doing your top 3 or what? You give a guy a wrench and he just starts doing the most. We love to see it, though. So with that being said, we got to move into this next fight, folks. We got 4 left. We're going to breeze through these next 4, though. Because, folks, we're not playing matchmaker for Chris Duncan. It doesn't matter what's next for him. He's just going to do well, right? He's the man. He's the myth. He's the legend. And I'm here for it. What else I was here for was that walkout from Alexia Tainara in the women's strawweight division, coming in against a Molly Meatball McCann. Nano. This fight was everything that we hoped it would be and more. Me and you talked after the show. I think we did 1 or 2 more shots and we talked a little bit, and I was like, we're doing the under on this one. Should we lean Tainara as well? Should we double down? And we both ultimately just kind of like virtual handshake agreed. Nah, the under is fine. We're going to hit. It's going to be fine. I think this is one where we both would like to go back and just, record scratch, reverse that. Little Missy Elliott put her thing down, flip it and reverse it action here. It's your friend, yeah. Somebody go and reverse that clip. It will actually say, put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. I've done that. It's wild.
Oh, nice. I did not realize that.
Swear. If you reverse it on her music video, she says, I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's wild. Yeah. So with that being said, my friend, Alexia Tainara, she came out, she danced, and I'll be honest, Miss Mary, if you're in the chat right now, shout out Miss Mary 616. She saw her walking out, Nano. And me and Drew, we saw her walking out too. We were heavy on the Jameson. Like 3/4 of a bottle in before Jake's birthday. And also 2 breakfast old fashions between or 4 breakfast old fashions between me and Drew. Me and Drew saw her walking out, and I was like, oh boy, she's wasting a lot of energy. If I did that, I'd be super tired by the time I got to the octagon, let me tell you. While we're like talking shit, Miss Mary is like doing her makeup and stuff. She comes out of the bathroom. She glances at the TV, sees her do like the run forward, the run back. One of those. And she's all, bet the fucking house on that bitch. She's about to get it done. And what do you know? 4 minutes, 32 seconds in, Miss Mary 616 was correct, sir. Wow. She exerted more energy, effort, and time in the walkout than she did in the fight. No. And that is just all she wrote for Alexia Tainara, not Tainara. Whoever the fuck got me fucked up in the chat last week, literally, I wish I could be mad. I wanted to say something angry and mean, but that was just A+ trolling. You got me. You made me look dumb in like 2 other shows. So great job for you. But Alexia Tainara went out there and got it done. She was an absolute beast. And 3 minutes and 24 seconds of control time, Nano, in a fight that lasted 4 minutes and 32 seconds. What is that? Quick
Most
math.
of
I might be wrong. It's like 58 seconds that she wasn't in control of the fight. No, less.
Yeah.
Christ. Lane. Tainara got some mad energy. Making the walk. If I were to train and wanted to stay close to home, I'd be rolling with Fortis MMA. Let's go. Shout out to Fortis MMA. That's a solid gym. Au revoir, mes amis. Je vous revoirai. S-Dogs MMA Talk. Très bien. En direct. Aujourd'hui. I think my mom just kind of took over my brain for a second. Fun fact, when my mom would get super angry at us back in the day, she would just start cursing us out in French. We'd be like, run! She's speaking another language.
Yeah, no, it's happening. It's happening.
If she'd use my middle name, my full name, or speak French, I knew it was not great.
Yeah. The full
Sam
name,
Jelly,
middle
thank
name,
you.
Back
Thank
combo. Well said.
It's been a while since I've hit anything French other than Les Banton Roulé Mon Ami or just cher. I say cher all like more often drunk than I do sober. Oh man. Yeah, and I agree with you, Sav Jelly. I think I'm gonna love Alexia as well. It is croissant. 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 No. Please shut me the hell up and talk about this fight, my friend.
Oh man, well, like you're saying, we'll try to keep them short and brief here. But no, Alexia went out there and she literally retired our girl Molly Meatball. I mean, she, like Lane's mentioning, better run when Mama pulls up. Yeah, you got him right. Especially if the Creole's coming, you gotta best believe we're running.
She's talking about my mama.
But like Sav Jelly said, like Miss Mary mentioned, like we were all leaning last week here. I mean, we knew that the younger, more brash fighter was going to go out there and take care of business. Ton of energy. Just felt like, I don't even know, like something you would do to your uncle at the cookout or something. Like you're messing around with them. Maybe you had some bevies and he thinks he's slick, and then you just casually grab his foot, bend him, like get him on the ground, and then pause. Next thing you know, you're in a dominant
You wouldn't
position.
try that with one of my uncles at the cookout.
There's always that one uncle that's just overconfident. It's like, what are you doing, guy? You try to throw this leg kick. I'm just gonna tip you over here and tabletop you. But it was levels. And like Molly mentioned in her post fight kind of retirement, she's taken a lot of shots in her day, so she wasn't really able to take many more, especially when you come to the training and everything like that. Then just the athleticism, the wear and tear in the body, it was obvious. I mean, you got this girl Alexia literally running around you, whether it's in the outside the octagon, in there, after. She's yelling, she's hyped up. Like, she's someone that definitely has a lot of skills, that is going to take that hype and continue to run with it. She's got a lot of energy, like a lot of, pizzazz, I guess you can say. So everything's trending in the right direction for an Alexia. Maybe that was the reason why they put her up against a Molly, just to kind of make it a smooth transition. She takes some of the hype, and it's onward and upward for her. I don't necessarily have anyone top of mind in the strawweight division, but I mean, maybe someone like a Sam Hughes we just saw recently. They're both in the 20-something range, so maybe they can both potentially fight for a top 15 position next. I kind of like where she's looking in that sense.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Sam Hughes is on a 2-fight win streak, though, so with all due respect, I do feel like she should be able to fight up. I only say that as a Sam Page fan, right? A bit of a Sam Page fanboy. Did bet on her in her last fight, not on the underdogs competition. Fuck you, McCann, if you're watching the playback on this. I know you're asleep right now. The other name that I'm looking at, though, is a Yasmin Haragui. She just came off of a submission loss, specifically to a Ketlin Souza. And you got someone that's looking to make a name for themselves out here in Alexia Tainara. She's strong for a strawweight, right? Especially for a strawweight. And I think that this is a really, really just solid matchup for her and for Haurige. Man, I don't know who I'd even go with in this one, but we'd probably win again because we'd bet the under.
Attaboy. You're not catching on yet. You better.
Everybody used to bet strawweight unders on men's flyweight, and then they started being minus odds. Women's strawweight unders are still plus odds for the most part, boys and girls. Like, why are we not doing this? Actually, no. With all due respect, stay away from it. Bet the over. Let us just make money. Alexia, the long lost daughter of Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes, look at them close side by side. I hate you so much.
Jeez.
I wish I would have read that before I put it on the screen.
That's hilarious.
Dix Insider, you're so funny, dude.
Too much. I love it.
Oh, so good. So good. Speaking of so good, but also so bad. Yeah, go ahead and pour it up, Nano. We got a welterweight belt. I already got mine poured. Between Gunnar Nelson and Kevin Holland. Look, when I was watching this fight with This Is Drew, I think we did 3 shots just watching this fight. Out of sadness. Making the walk. She does look like Wesley Snipes, though. She does, but like back in the Blade days, right?
Definitely Blade, like Blade 1.
Also, like the movements. I feel like are very Blade-like. She's very sharp with it. Thank you, Matua. She don't look like Wesley. She looks like Blade. Fucking thank you, dude.
Oh my goodness. That's how you know.
Wait, Kevin Holland dogged on my ex-husband on his story?
Oh, wow.
We don't mind losing money on this fight then and doing a shot on it. No, you got to pour it up. Fucking Christ.
I'm ready.
Hey!
For the record, did you bet on Gunnar?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. I like those plus money odds for our boy Kevin Holland, man. And that's what we get. You know, we got to learn to hedge-a-roni when it comes to Kevin Holland. So you never know a Big Mouth.
We actually bet Gunnar inside the distance. Yeah, we bet Gunnar inside the distance. Oh, man. When Gunnar was holding him up like a big brother by one arm, I was like, yeah, this looks like a guy that decided to spar a dude that outweighed him by 200 pounds for fun. And I'm talking about Gunnar Nelson when he decided to do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rolling and sparring with the Mountain, a.k.a. the strongest man in the world currently, judging by the Guinness Book of World Records. By the way, he broke 1 or 2 of his own ribs just to submit the Mountain. Oh,
jeez, he did.
That's why I thought he'd be the guy to beat Kevin Holland. Since, Kevin Holland has looked fairly beatable in recent years. We were wrong, and here we are. Folks. I got to do this, I feel like, at least once every show. Here we go. Here's to lying, cheating, and stealing. Folks, if you lie, may you lie next to a loved one. If you cheat, may you cheat the Vegas bookies and their odds. And if you steal, may you steal the hearts of many. Cheers to you, folks. And cheers to lying, cheating, and stealing.
Hello. You heard it here first. Let's go.
Sav! Yes, you do. Especially considering we had to do 2 shots for you to get the damn video. Dick. So I did that, and I did the lying, cheating, and stealing, and she was like, what the fuck? She got angry. And then I was like, let me fucking explain it. And then I explained it, and then she's like, okay, that was actually really cheesy and really good. And then Mary was like, she's like, fuck, I wish I recorded that. And Mary was like, let's just do another shot.
Just run it back.
So,
it's the right attitude.
So we did. You didn't expect me to be heartfelt and shit? I'm the biggest goober and goofball and heartfelt dude you probably ever met. Come on.
That's facts.
Did you see the way I reacted to your guys' video? Come on. It's so cute. Anyways, this Kevin Holland bout, man. Kevin Holland went out there and got it done. I'm going to let you take the lead, though. Tell us how you felt.
It was a fun one, brother. I felt good about it. I felt really good watching our boy Kevin Holland go out there and beat the Vegas bookies to go out there and do what none of us really thought he was able to do. I mean, we were rooting for it. We were hoping for it. But he caught Mr. Gunnar Nelson. I'm tripping. Why am I blanking out here? I guess I messed up his name, but Kevin Holland went out there to care of business.
Gunnar, same thing.
It is, right? Okay, that's why I think I didn't want to mispronounce it.
So you said Gunnar. His name is Gunnar, but they call him Goonie. That's his nickname. So that I think that's where you were getting that correlation. Okay, so you're still golden, pony boy. Keep going.
Close enough. But it was fun, man. I mean, he was able to put the pause on Mr. Nelson over here. I'll say it more laymansly. But that's what Kevin Holland does. And he showed great defense, great takedown defense, great jiu-jitsu, some good scrambling, even some scissor kicks from the bottom. I mean, he was doing everything he needed to do to win the fight, plain and simple. And we knew if Gunnar wasn't going to be able to go out there and submit him in that first round, the longer it went, the more I felt like Kevin Big Mouth definitely had a chance to win, and he was able to do it. He's the better fighter. This is probably the right division for him as well. We all forget this guy goes up and down, back and forth. Probably the most that I've seen.
We? Who the fuck is we? I need to get that Dustin Poirier sound clip. I'm sorry, I'm failing at that.
That's a good addition, Jamie.
Because who the fuck is we, bro? We've had this conversation for at least 4 years.
That's facts, bro. That's facts. But if you're listening, everyone forgets this guy. This is where he needs to be. Like, let's not forget. This guy is where he needs to be. This is his home. And I think he's making a name for himself here, man. He's doing everything the right way. And I think that's what's next. Like, why not continue to try to feed him, get him back up towards the top, get him in there. He's a household name. There's a lot of fun opponents in the welterweight division. So I think that's where we go, man. I think that's where it's next for him. I mean, he beat a Joaquin Buckley way back when, and he's sitting there at number 4. So I don't know how bullish we want to get, but anybody in the top 15 could get these hands. Can you imagine him and Colby Chaos Covington? That'd be oh my gosh. I don't think Colby's ever going to fight again, but someone like him, someone like, even Brian the Butcher, maybe a little Butcher action, a little chitty.
Colby's actually calling out the Diaz brothers right now. And I don't know if you saw, but Kevin Holland actually responded and said, the closest thing to a Diaz brother you're going to get is me, brother.
That's facts.
And it's facts. Boy, let's go. Dude, it's facts. It's big, hard facts. So I'm with you, bro. Going into the breakdown of the fight, I will tell you this. The shot's already been done. So the damage is done. Everything bad's out of the way, or good for that matter. Man. I'm not gonna post it for you all to see, all 30 of you that are watching right now. But I am gonna send it to you, Nano, after the show. Miss Mary sent me a video of me and Drew watching this fight. There are parts of that video that I don't remember. That was a very early portion of the day. But I'll tell you this. It was, as Foghorn Leghorn said, it was the best of times. I say it was the worst of times. Because, man, it was one of those situations where, like, I was yelling out things, and Gunnar just made bad decisions in that fight. And typically when Kevin would make a bad decision in a previous fight, he made the best decisions. So kudos to him. He is a Travis Lutter black belt, right? Got to shout out those little facts. A lot of people don't know that, but he is. He's a Travis Lutter black belt. He doesn't brag about it the same way Henry Cejudo does about his gold medals at the Olympics, obviously. But he does have grappling, even though he somehow fails to use it in some of his fights. This was not one of those fights, right? If we look at the control time, Gunnar Nelson, 9 minutes, 29 seconds. A lot of control time. Compared to the 1 minute and 4 seconds that Kevin Holland had, you'd be worried if you didn't see how this fight ended. But if you watch the fight, you would see Kevin Holland was big brothering him from start to finish. Even when the control time was happening, Kevin was landing the bigger strikes, right? There's so often that you're watching a fight and you hear the commentator say things like, he should really be trying to fight to get into a better position here rather than wasting energy and effort striking in this position. You ever watch the Carlos Condit fight? You ever watched the Tony Ferguson fight? I can go on. I've been here.
OGs now, unfortunately. We were talking about that. Unfortunately, that might be a past era. Some of these listeners may not
a fucking
know.
chance, bro. These kids are getting better. I promise you. The only reason you haven't seen it is because nobody's been strong enough to put Islam on his back. Okay, kid. Let's go. I'm out here.
There you go.
I'm always here to glaze, AKA. But no, real talk. If you watch that GSP versus the Natural Born Killer fight, Carlos Condit did more damage on his back than GSP did on his feet. He sliced him up. And if you look at the post-fight presser, back then they did him with both guys sitting on the same stage. One guy looked like he got fucking just demolished, and the other guy looked like he was fine. And the guy that looked like he was fine lost a 46 unanimous decision. He won the one round where he got the drop. I think it was was it round 4? I think it was round 4. Round 4 where he did the same side shadow kick. So he did the cross and then threw the same side leg kick or a head kick up, which they used to teach us that at AKA back in the day. They called it the Mirage kick. Nice. It's one of my favorite things to throw. I'll also send you a drunken video from last weekend of me hitting Drew with one of those. Well, not hitting, but just fucking around. A little shadow boxing action. So with that being said, my friend, this was one of those fights where Kevin Holland did literally every MMA glaze anomaly. Thanks, Hangry Dana.
Tell him.
I trained there for years, bro. I trained with Islam and I got pictures with DC and Javier and all those guys, man. Went to a Bellator event with Javier and them. So yeah. Call me the Glazer. That's me. If the shoe fits, I'm aware, baby. And speaking of shoe fitting, 138 strikes to 30. Kevin Holland. 55 significant strikes to 15. Kevin Holland. And ultimately, he ends up getting it done, via decision, right? It was a unanimous decision for a reason. It's not very often where we see that much control time lose a fight. But again, it matters what you're doing with the control time. Now, what do we actually think should be next for somebody like a Kevin Holland, somebody that is, he's not a Conor McGregor, right? Let's make no mistake about it, but he's still a household name with all due respect. He's apprehended, wrongdoers in vigilante Batman style. He's fought former title fighters. There's a number of things that could be next for this guy. But I'm curious to hear yours, and then I've got at least 2 names on the tip of my tongue now. Who you got?
Yeah, like I said, man, I think anybody in that top 15 can get these hands from a big mouth, right? Honestly, the one that kind of made sense, I didn't realize he had the call out with Colby, but Colby Chaos Covington would be fun. It's not like high stakes in the sense of, it's someone that both are itching for a title contention. Yes and no. There's obviously relevance to it, but it's 2 OGs in the game, and that could even be a fight night main event, I should say, to rephrase it better. But I'll pay to watch Big Mouth fight anybody, man. Even if it's like a exhibition, go up a weight class. Just fight some dude on short notice. He's been known to do it. He's been willing to get paid for it too. So I'd be curious. But that to me is someone like a Colby, I think, is my first choice. And then after that, shoot, maybe even a Vicente Luque, somebody in that realm. I think short list of the top guys. Anybody up there, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm also not mad at him getting the loser of a Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal.
That's perfect range. Yep.
You got those guys fighting on my birthday at April 12th. Loser of that fight, you got to think it'd be a lot of fun for him. I don't know who's going to win that fight. I'm betting on Prates, calling a spade here as usual. Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland would be a really, really fun fight. And I think it's a fight that was supposed to happen recently or previously. And then if you also look ahead, right? Man, I think Colby Covington's probably the best fight to make. I just wanted to throw a different name out than you. Right? That was the second name. I counted the first two as one name because it's a loser, right? But that being said, we got 2 more fights to go over, and we're going to try and get through them in the near future here, folks. So let's go on ahead and get into the co-main event of the evening. It is a light heavyweight bout between Jan Blachowicz coming in against Carlos Ulberg. Nano, I'm going to spend very, very little time on this one because this was somehow the least exciting fight of the night for me. Between 2 light heavyweights that I thought were going to come out here and look to get it on and look to get it done early in the distance. We had Carlos Ulberg on our bets, right, Nano? But we had him inside the distance. Luckily, we didn't put a shot on that one because we'll have one to do in the next one. But I digress, my boy. I digress. Carlos Ulberg, he got the win, but he didn't impress in this one. Dixon Cider. Just not shooting blanks, that's for sure. Ulberg decision was free. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Sav Jelly, welterweight rankings is half and half. Old guys and new guys. Heartbreak. Mm-hmm. Oh, Sav Jelly. Heartbreak, but also heartful. Because, come on. Old guy? Right? New guy. There's a little bit of love for both of us, so we're happy with welterweight here. All right. And yeah, you're right, Dixon. Jan just a little bit too tough. Nano, did anything surprise you about this fight? The biggest thing that surprised me about this fight wasn't Jan's toughness. It was Carlos's respect for Jan. I think he respected him a little bit too much. He didn't move in enough, and that ultimately resulted in him not getting the finish. I think if he comes in here with a little bit less regard for the power of Jan, he probably goes out there and gets it done.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could have made a little bit more of a name for himself, right? When you look at just the overall striking that was had in this fight and just kind of the excitement, it simply wasn't there. You know, it was 15 minutes. Neither guy landed more than 76 punches on their opponent. So it was a really low pace, which, yeah, to your point, I can't necessarily put it all on our boy Carlos Ulberg. You know, this guy's willing to go out there and die on his shield. I think it is kind of the dance partner here, unfortunately, in the Jan Blachowicz, someone that still has that Polish power and always will. He'll probably be a grandpa and just be able to knock some dudes out just casually because he's got it like that. But when it comes to this high-level fighting and everyone's on the same page or on the same like ballpark, on the same field, there it is. There's the expression. I just, you got to have an edge. You either got to be super hungry or you got to have that youth, right? You got to be young and willing and maybe even just young and dumb, just willing to go in there and say, F it, I'm going to go and leave it all out there. And unfortunately, we've seen that trend with the Jan Blachowicz. So I personally would be okay with just letting him right off into the sunset. Again, he is 42, probably going to be 43 soon. Like that's up there, you know, and now you got a Carlos Ulberg, someone who's a young gun, the new shiny toy in the division, and already ranked third in the division here. So if you're looking at it, and you're Carlos, I mean, maybe if you need a true number one contender matchup because Alex and Magomed are already going to happen, and talk about round 2. I'm not talking about number 1. This is what we're going to see again, it sounds like. So maybe you stay busy. Maybe you do go fight a Yuri at some point this year, and then that'll be a true number one contender. Or, again, like he kind of mentioned in the post-fight conference, like he's going to get healthy a little bit. We'll see how early these guys fight again, but it might almost make more sense for him to just sit and wait, right? Because what does he have to lose? I mean, everything if you go out and lose to a Yuri Bahashka, because is he going to get the for sure title fight again? If it's Alex, probably not. If it's Magomed, I guess Yuri definitely gets it, but makes it messy, right? Yuri's a wrench in this thing that you just simply don't need. Again, if you're a Carlos Ulberg and you're coming off even though it wasn't the most exciting win in your career, definitely the biggest when it comes to the number and what was at stake. And his position now, right at number 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if he waits, but personally, I'd like to see him fight Yuri. And Jan, it's been real, my brother.
I got a different fight.
Ooh, I'm listening.
So I'd like to see him fight Yuri as well. I think it'd be a fun fight. I think it'd be a fun matchup. But I also think it'd be a better matchup to see him fight another man who's coming off of a loss. Right? A man who just recently lost to Magomed Ankalaev. A man who is still the king of the world right now as far as mixed martial arts speaks. Alex Pereira. Carlos Ulberg versus Alex Pereira. It's a quick way to build Alex Pereira back up. He knocks out Carlos Ulberg, you put him at heavyweight. Against John Jones, against Tom Aspinall, whoever that winner is. Or you get him right back into a rematch against Magomed Ankalaev. Either way, we're all fucking here for it, bro.
I like it. I would not be mad at that. I know that.
But I'm also definitely not mad at a Yuri Prochazka fight. Dixon Sider said, I need to see Walter Walker heel hook another heavyweight bum ASAP. You and me both, man. We're both going to be betting on that sub. Making the Walk said, I know it's not next, but just imagine the lack of excitement in an Ulberg versus Ankalaev fight. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Nobody. Sorry, nobody. And with that being said, folks, we are into the main event of the evening, folks. I'm going to let a man say it better than I ever could myself.
It's time!
Thanks, Bruce. It's time to talk about the main event of the evening, folks, and that is a welterweight main event between Leon Rocky Edwards coming in against Sean. I'm here to take everything you worked for, Brady, folks. My goodness, I've got a shot poured up. It's a full one because it's the main event, and we got it wrong. It's not very often we bet against America, but this is one of the very, very few times, and we did it. So here we go. Man. I was pretty upset with this fight. Not because of the way it went, but because of the way that Leon performed. I like Sean. I want to see him do well, but fuck, man. Leon had a bad night. No, you got to pour it up.
I'm ready, my brother.
Folks, no fancy cheers here. If you're a UK fan, we're sorry that you had to witness this. If you're a US fan, congratulations. And if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, continue enjoying the ride. Cheers to you. Cheers to us, to the fuss, the muss. And if you're not already hitting that subscribe button and that like button, we really hope you do after this. Cheers, folks. Let's go.
Salute. Appreciate ya.
Ooh, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Last one always hits just right. Cash Brady sub 3-4-5 combo. Wow. What were the odds, Dixon, if you don't mind me asking, since you hit on round 4? What were the odds on round 4? Or if you don't mind supplying them for 3, 4, and 5 here. Olin, did you let your British YouTube friends put you on Lazy Leon? This fucking guy. I didn't. So I thought that Leon was going to win simply because he's a better defensive fighter in mixed martial arts. And I also knew that he had a full camp, and Sean Brady stepped up on short notice. I believe it was 8 to 12 days on this fight. So, man, it's tough. And also fighting on his own clock. I read too much into it. Okay. I read too much into it, but Dixon Sider said plus 900 I got for the combo of the 3 rounds. Oh, you did a combo bet of 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's nice. I got you.
That's fire.
Got crushed throughout the week, though. Even with Leon's staff in the arm. You know, I've seen people with staff win fights, so I was trying to ignore it. But you're right, man. You're right. We'll follow your... Look, we're going to tell you every single time, Dixon, this is why you're a mod now. Need to see you in the chat tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to pin down with Nano as soon as we wrap up tonight. We're going to be chatting and we're going to figure out when we're doing tomorrow's episode. As soon as we know, I'll hit you up. Dixon, I don't know if you've already done this or not, but hit me up in Instagram at MMAnomaly or Twitter at MMAnomaly. Shoot me a DM. That way I know which one is you. Say, hey, it's Dixon Sider. And I'll hit you up with the time when we're going live. That way we make sure you're in there because I'm listening, man. Those bets you hit this week, I'm listening. Okay. We're playing with house money right now. We're up 51 plus units. So at this point, we'll sprinkle. we'll sprinkle some units on Dixon Siders, parlays, and picks for damn sure. Especially if they're padding the wealth. So jumping back to the fights, Nano, look, I mean, the thing that stood out most to me in this was game planning. It felt like Leon Edwards was fighting a fight not to lose versus fighting a fight to win. Shooting for a takedown 40 yards away was not great. And after already having been mauled in the grappling era or the grappling realm, even worse. So I was more let down by Leon Edwards than ever before. It was a tough one. But I was also more impressed by F'ING Brady than ever before. So kudos to the man, F'ING Brady. Distance control was on key. 221 strikes to 23. Are you kidding me as far as one-way traffic goes, bro? Just insane. And he landed 5 of 7 takedowns. Have a great gym visit, Sav Jelly. We hope you get a great freaking workout in. Health is wealth, baby. And shout out to Kick 'em in the Head MMA podcast. Let's go.
He is
doing a marathon stream today, baby.
Yeah, he's like a Twitch guy over here. I see you putting in them hours, my guy.
We out here putting that work in, bro. So Nano, I mean, look, kick me off the bar stool here. What stood out to you? Was it more of a props to Sean moment or a kind of this was a Leon deficit issue?
Man,
or maybe a bit of both.
Probably a little bit of both, but I'll stick to the positives and I'll give the man his flowers. I'll give the guy who has worked his ass off his entire career to get here, and that's a F'ING freaking Brady, man. He went out there, and frankly, Leon didn't have an answer for it, right? He knew that was a game plan going in. Leon made his job easier when he was frustratedly tried to take him down to kind of show him, oh, I can do that too. Talking about how small he is. He's just going to be too fast for him. I mean, Leon really didn't get him going, and when he did, again, Sean was all over him, and there was just literally just zero answer for the ground game, and that's where we saw Leon exposed by Bilal, the champ, right? And so I think I saw a tweet when we were watching it, and it's like, wow, Bilal's that good, and that's kind of the other takeaway is, hey, F'ING Brady's a beast, but seeing him go out there and maybe fight Bilal again, that get me excited, man, because those are probably two of the best right now in the world at what they're doing. Get a JDM, getting a Shavkat, who maybe that's the dark horse in all this that we're leaving out and potentially forgetting about, because now F'ING Brady is number one over a Shavkat. But there are definitely some guys. I think like Dixon Sider said here as well, Leon underestimated Sean. Yeah, I think that was exactly it. And Sean's that guy. He's got the skills. It's just, does he have that finish capability? Can he strike with them? And again, like a Shavkat or a Bilal, I mean, Sean's going to have to step up a little bit when it comes to that striking pedigree. But, man, he's the number one guy now. I love to see it, man. He was emotional. He's happy. He's in a good place. And he's right where he needs to be. And unfortunately for Leon, someone has to take the L, and it was him. And apparently he didn't show a lot of class after. I don't know if that's just F'ING Brady just maybe kind of hyping it up a little bit more, but he just didn't really like the way Leon was carrying himself before, after, during the fight, which I kind of don't blame him either. Again, it did feel like Leon kind of let his foot off the gas, or to your point, maybe had an off night, but you can't do that back-to-back after being the champion, right? It's just, maybe it's just getting the back case of the yips, but he's got to really bounce back or reconsider some things. Mr. Edwards there does.
Are you a Ted Lasso fan right now with the yips?
I believe, baby. How'd you feel about this one, though, brother?
I feel two ways after hearing you say the yips and that you're a Ted Lasso fan. I got to get you watching Nottingham Forest games. The next one's at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Let's go. I can't tell you how many times when we were watching Ted Lasso, when it was live coming out, something would happen in Ted Lasso, and either the week before or the week of, it would happen in a Nottingham game. Like, we're that team. Everyone doubted us, all the way down to like someone talking shit in the stands and another player stepping up for him. You know what I'm talking about. You know that scene. You'll enjoy them. You'll enjoy them. They got a great story. So with that being said, man, first and foremost, great breakdown. Always. But I got to ask you a question, my friend. Do you agree with the, for lack of better words, the shakeup in the welterweight division as far as the rankings change? So Sean Brady has moved up 4 spots today to number 1, right? Jack Della Maddalena down 1 spot to number 5. Kamaru Usman down 1 spot to number 4. Leon Edwards down 2 spots to number 3. And Shavkat remaining in the same place. I think Shavkat should have stayed the same. I think Jack should have stayed the same. I think Leon should probably be number 5. And Kamaru should probably be number 6. With all due respect, I got to ask you, why is it that Kamaru Usman is still top 5? Do you think it's warranted or no?
It might just be kind of a legacy thing at that point, potentially. I mean, definitely for me, one of the best we've seen in a long time to do it. Maybe this generation at his peak, he was a menace. And maybe something's cooking, right? Maybe he's got something up his sleeve. But the only thing that surprised me with the current rankings is that Shavkat's not number 1.
Dixon said, Olin, are you a Forest fan because of Ariel Helwani, or are you a hipster like that? JK, don't get mad, bro. I'm revoking your wrench right now, you son of a bitch. No, I'm going to be honest with you. I am a football or soccer fan because of Forest, and I am both because of Helwani. I'm simply an MMA fan. I've been watching MMA for the last, I don't know, like probably, I think I started watching it like 1998, 1997. Either way, when I started watching, I never stopped. And I started watching the Helwani show a long, long time ago. He started talking about Forest, and he just kind of never stopped. So I started listening to him talk about Nottingham Forest, and I had never watched a soccer game in my entire life. And I woke up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I watched the soccer game. And after hearing all of his backstory about how they hadn't been in Premier League for like 20 years and this, that, and the other, I paid attention. And I fell in love with the Brennan Johnsons of the world and the Morgan Gibbs Whites of the world and the Felipes of the world, right? And now I know most of our players by name. And I wake up, whether it's 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., or thank goodness, like it is on Saturday this weekend, a 10:30 a.m. game. I'm watching either way, no matter what time it is. I really support these Nottingham Forest guys because they are representing a legacy. And they went from being the team that hadn't been in Premier League for over 20 years to now being on the cusp of getting promoted from Premier League into the upper echelon of the entire fucking thing. They've beaten the who's who's that have way more money than them at this point. And that's money to obtain and pay better players. But with all due respect, you might have better players, but we got better heart at Nottingham Forest. And that's why we're going to continue to grow. So let's go. Dixon Sider, let's go. Man of Culture. They've been really good this year. Even without Brennan Johnson, I'm so sad Brennan Johnson went to the Tottenham Hotspurs. That shows you how much I've been paying attention. He was my favorite player from Nottingham. So definitely upset that he left, but it is what it is. And with that being said, Nano, these rankings changes, do you think they're warranted?
Not Sean number 1. Above Shavkat did shock me a little bit. I mean, being Leon is a big deal, but if I'm Shavkat, it's like, what did I do? What did I do to, go down a little bit here? That was the only thing that kind of shocked me. It was the fact that he went all the way up to number 1. Thought I definitely warranted to maybe jump Leon or to move up a little bit there. Take me a little higher, as Creed would say, but to go all the way up to numero uno there, I mean, I thought maybe Shavkat could still be number 1 and then Sean. But hey, I ain't mad at it. Sean went out there and handled business. I mean, he dominantly took care of Leon. So maybe that was enough. Enough for, I guess that was enough. Hard to argue against it.
Absolutely hard to argue against. And man, like the only thing I would disagree with you with is Sean does actually deserve the number 1 spot here. I feel like what was the first MMA movie you ever saw? Probably Never Back Down, same as me. Because there wasn't a whole lot of them back then. To beat the best, to be the best, you got to beat the best. Like that's what Sean went out there and did. He was supposed to go fight like somebody like a Bilal, but Bilal wouldn't sign the line, so he was able to get somebody like a Leon. He went out there and beat the brakes off of him. So, with all due respect, that's the guy. And if Bilal gets past Shavkat, that's the guy. I think they put him there at number 1 for story purposes. You have him at number 1 instead of Shavkat. You know that Shavkat is going to end up going out there and getting the job done. And if he doesn't, well, Bilal has a hell of a job on his hands. If I'm being honest, I'm leaning towards Bilal on this one. I hope we get him at dog odds. I really do. Dixon Sider said, Olin, did you steal that never back down line from Drickus? No, brother. 12 years ago when I met my significant other, the first movie I had her watch with me was Never Back Down. And we've been together 12 years since. So let's go. To be the best, you got to beat the best, huh? Let's go. You're not getting one past me, pal. I have the memory of an elephant. Bro, I didn't steal that from Drickus. Can you send me that video, though? Like, did he actually mention Never Back Down? That's incredible. No, I saw Never Back Down at the Louisiana Boardwalk. Back in Bossier City, Louisiana, or Shreveport, Louisiana, wherever the Louisiana Boardwalk is. And then right after that, we went and we spent way too much money on the little pull-down punch ball machine. And I remember because after like probably 37 or 38 bucks spent on that machine, when we did not have the money to be spending that kind of god fucking awful money on a punch ball machine, my boy Mike tried to kick it and he missed it by about a half inch. And we had a crowd of people watching us at that point. And they all laughed at Mike. It was a great time, though. It was a great time to laugh. And with that being said, folks, that's it. That's the show. I got to go out of here. I got to get some dinner. I've been live at this point for like 4 hours. I feel like, actually, no, it has actually been about 4 hours. So for those of you that have been here for the last 2 hours of this one, I appreciate each and every one of you. Whether you tuned in at the back end, the beginning end, somewhere in between, or somewhere outside of those realms, we appreciate each and every one of you. Like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. You already know what the fuck it is, folks. And if you do none of the above, if you just got here for the last second, there's about 50 of you right now. We'd appreciate you if you just did 2 things and 2 things only, if nothing else. And that's this. Keep on going and keep on growing, folks. We'll see you next time, which is tomorrow.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.